Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Grave, the home of the paranormal. Wherever you are in the world, I hope I find you well. The weather is starting to change here in the UK, and the dark, gloomy nights have finally set in. As I look out from my living room window, a white blanket of mist is starting to settle, and the moonlit sky sets the mood for this week's ghost story. Told by Charles Nelson from Minnesota. Billy, the Wandering Soul. We stumbled on a listing for an imposing Victorian house in the old Highland area of North Minneapolis. The real estate agent informed us that the house was occupied by the builder's descendant, a widow in her mid-80s. Special arrangements were required to show the house. She would only allow it to be shown after dark. The evening of the showing arrived, and we rang the doorbell. It seemed like forever until the door was opened by a very little elderly lady who received us with an air of formality and pride, apologizing for the fact that the house did not look its best. But to us, the dimly lit entry hall with its winding oak staircase and 20-foot ceiling was all we needed to fall in love with the old house. The closing went according to schedule. We signed what seemed to be a ream of documents and then handed over the check. It was ours. We would take possession on the last day of the month, October 31st. Now, we are not superstitious folk, but always believed in not tempting fate. That night we experienced a full-scale thunderstorm that blew the covers off the traps in the basement, shooting murky water high into the air. We had no trick-or-treaters that night. For some reason, the neighborhood children avoided the house, even during the day. I felt that the way to gain entry into a neighborhood was through the children. Everyone I questioned said it was a haunted house. I could not agree more with the vivid imagination of their young minds. It was a strange old house occupied by an old lady who lived in the servants' quarters and never had lights on in the front rooms. We would change all that. There was one thing that seemed rather strange, which surfaced in our conversations with the owner during our visits prior to closing. She constantly referred to someone named Billy. We later found out that Billy was her son, a war veteran who had met a tragic death in the house. It was obvious that, in her mind, Billy was still a resident of the house because she referred to him in the present tense. We didn't realize how much he was in the present tense until after we took up residency. Within a week, marbles began to appear. They were always found in the center of rugs, so as to be quite obvious. We did not bring any marbles with us when we moved in, and we brought most of the rugs with us. At the same time, small dirty handprints began to appear on the back hall stairway, much as if a small child was making his way from the back door up to the bathroom on the second floor. Washing these handprints from the walls did little, as they reappeared the very next day. A variety of small items also appeared, including Billy's military dog tags, a cookie cutter with the name Billy scratched on it, merit badges, and a number of Catholic holy cards inscribed to Billy from nuns at the parochial school a couple blocks away. In all, nearly 100 marbles made their appearance over a period of 2 years. When investigating a corner of the attic tower, we found a cloth marble bag with marbles inside. The collection we had amassed, when added to the bag, filled it to the top with no room to spare. No more marbles appeared from that time on. Other visits from Billy are worthy of comment. His presence could be felt in the form of a cold spot, often encountered without warning, both in the library and in the upstairs sewing room that had served as his bedroom, where he had died. On several occasions, doors would slam and the sound of small feet would be heard running in the upstairs hallway toward the back stairs. One evening, the drawers in the upstairs linen closet opened and closed with such a racket that one would wonder if someone was throwing a temper tantrum, looking for a misplaced item. The most spectacular performance occurred when a broken 9-foot-high door on runners, which had been off its tracks, slid from the wall into the closed position. It has worked perfectly ever since. Although most of the activity took place during the first 2 years we lived in the house, it usually coincided with projects such as moving furniture or redecorating. It appeared as if Billy wanted to let us know that he knew what we were doing to his house. Almost 10 years after we moved into this fine old Victorian house, we finally put the finishing touches into wallpapering the last room. It was the eve of the Day of the Assumption, a Catholic obligatory holy day. On that day we received a holy card and a scapular medal. It was Billy's last visit, nothing more has appeared to remind us of his presence. Billy's mother has also passed away. We have related the stories about Billy to friends and those interested in spiritual presences. Interestingly, we have not been the only ones to receive a visit from Billy. Friends and family staying overnight or living with us for an extended period have also reported encounters with him and have found souvenirs left in their paths. Overall, Billy never did anyone harm, although we often had the feeling that he was looking over our shoulders. After all, it was his house, he had grown up there and died there. We've been told that Billy was a phenomenon known as psychic teleportation, and that he manifested himself through the strong will of his mother. No changes had been made to the house since its construction. We were the first to threaten the status quo, a cause of concern for Billy and his mother. I think Billy left us when he was finally satisfied we would do no harm. I often think about Billy. I do hope he's finally found peace, maybe he's been reunited with his mother, and found comfort in knowing his childhood house is in safe hands with us. Thank you for listening. If you have a ghost story of your own, I'd love to hear it. You can find me on Facebook at _haunted21 or email me, link in description. As always, stay safe and sleep well.